Good morning. This is Angela with a cup of tea on Monday, July 18th, 2011. So we're doing all this work. We are clearing out our spiritual closet on this journey that we're taking collectively and individually at the same time. We're getting rid of these fears, anger, anxieties, rejections, resentments, regrets. We're getting rid of all that muck, so that we can tap back into our own inner divinity and clear that line into our higher selves. And in the process, there are a couple of things, we're becoming much more powerful. First of all, we're becoming very powerful in terms of manifesting and creating. And with the energies in the world that are changing around us every day, it's just amazing how fast things can manifest. I've had personal experience myself in the past several weeks alone on how immediately I could change something, and then how immediately I could change back. I had a situation where I unknowingly sort of let the craziness loose, and then I was like, whoa, back up. And the funny thing is, when I first said it, it was like within an hour, bam. And then when I realized it, like the next day, oh my gosh, what did I say? I went back and changed it, and then bam, everything fell back into place. It was amazing. It is such an amazing, powerful time. And there are a couple of things that are really important for us to remember. The first is remembering to remember. And that sounds really funny and really simple. But, it's funny, they say it takes 3 weeks to form a habit. Well, think of this. For thousands and thousands of years, part of what we wanted to experience in this existence was is to maybe forget that we are part of the divine, that we have all that divinity and all that self-empowerment. And we took it outside of us and we gave it to other people, to religions, to institutions, to communities, in all different ways. Thousands and thousands of years. And again, we're going through this really amazing short period of time on remembering who we are and remembering how powerful we are. So we're condensing or undoing all this stuff because we're like, okay, we learned that lesson. Now we're ready to move on to the next one. And I go back to, they say it takes 3 weeks to start a habit, right? But how long does it take to undo a habit or a set of habits that we have had or created for ourselves over thousands and thousands of years? I can't even tell you. It's just amazing. I've had situations that have come up where I'm like going, oh, well, I wish this was different. Or, God, I wish there was something I could do. And people are saying, oh, well, that's just the way it is. Or, yeah, don't worry about it. You just have to take it the way it goes because that's the way it is. And then, all of a sudden that inner voice comes up, my higher self, and says, you don't have to take this. What are you talking about? You've learned all this stuff. You've done all this work. You can change it. And you know what? Once I can remember that, it can change. It changes right away. Now, there are a couple of things to remember, obviously, when you're doing this. And one is highest and best is always of utmost importance, for the highest and best good, for your highest and best good, for the highest and best good of others in the situation. And with with grace and ease. And that was really part of the lesson I learned last week was, and I use grace and ease all the time, with grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy. And somehow I forgot that. And this one thing I manifested, well, this bunch of things I manifested, and I was on the train, the runaway train, for like 24 hours. It was amazing. And then like a day later, I remembered that I forgot the grace and ease, and I said, whoa, wait, let's change this. And I did. And guess what? It was like within an hour. Everything started falling into place. And it was amazing. It was awesome. It's just an amazing time we're living in. So the lesson from that, and now you're going to ask, how do I do that? So depending on your individual journey and what you're learning, you're going to find different ways of learning how to manifest. Some of them are very, very powerful, and whatever works for you is going to be the most powerful for you. But one of the simplest and easiest ways of manifesting and creating is taking that form to thought and thought to words. And whether the words are in your head, they're spoken, they're written, the more different ways that you you implement them and that you put them out there in focused energy to the universe, the more likely it is that they're going to actually manifest. And we are, again, going through this period of such transformation that it's happening faster and faster. So remembering to remember that you have control, you have full self-empowerment, and there is always, always, always something you can do because it is your reality. The next part is tied to this part in a big way, and that is to believe that everything is possible. Everything is possible. We've created the laws of the universe. We have created this universe. We've created our existence. We've created the experience that we wanted to experience, and we can change it. And the key to that is believing that you can. Believing that you can create your reality 100%. Believing that there is nothing called supernatural, that it's all natural. But it's just something we chose, again, in this existence to cut off from us and say that's something outside of us that we have no control over. Oh, this expanded universe is so amazing. And I am just more and more amazed with it every day to see what's going on around us. And all we have to do is notice and believe. Because when we say to ourselves, I don't believe that, I can never do that. I could never do that. Guess what happens? It happened. You create that. You create that reality. When you say, I can't make a difference, you just created that reality. And again, that's happening faster and faster. So how to do this? We have to bring this childlike wonderment, this childlike belief of everything is possible. How many times have you seen in the news when somebody has overcome all odds, regardless of what doctors or people or anybody has told them, and they have done some amazing things that by, the way we have it in the books, it should never have happened. But guess what? That person, they created their reality, and they believed they could do it. They knew they could do it, and they did it. I started having that kind of experience after I left corporate America. And actually, it started with my children. When my children were born, they had these amazing abilities that you'd call supernatural. And this is well before I was even in this work. And it was just amazing to watch what they could do without any effort whatsoever, just because they would expect it. They remembered things, how to do all this. And it's before we, how many times kids have invisible friends, imaginary friends. They have visits from people who have passed on. They know what people are thinking. They can feel you out so easily. They can find things. They can communicate so well with many times animals and other beings. And we look at them and say, wow, well, guess what? That's before we've retrained them to stop believing. And it's when they stop believing that these things stop happening, when they listen to teachers or peers or parents or family or friends that tell them, no, you can't do that. That's not possible. That's ridiculous that you believe that. This is something that can be the most challenging for many people because we say, oh, there's no such thing as aliens or star beings. There's no such thing as this. And again, as soon as you say that, you've sort of eliminated that from you. A lot of times I speak with people who have had this experience of they've had all these abilities and their natural abilities have shown through at a very early age, and then they were scared of them. They were told to be scared of them. They were told that it was, the devil or they were possessed or something like that. And so they wished it away and it went away. And now they want to gain it back because they realize it's just their natural abilities. And now they have to undo all of those filters that they've had put in there over their life. So your homework for this week on this topic is to pick one thing. Pick one thing this week and then do it every week. Pick one thing that you have doubts or disbelief about and consider it in a different light. Look at it in a completely different light. Say, well, what if this could happen? What if it did happen? How could that happen? And you'll be amazed. And also look at things, just look at things differently, whether it's a flower, an insect, an animal, a person, just look at them from a completely different light. What if I saw this person or saw this being or saw this plant from this perspective? How does it change? You know, what's amazing is I have a friend who's a photographer, been a photographer for many years, and he's taken some of the most mundane things and brought some beauty to them. Well, it's just looking at things from a different perspective. It's having that childlike wonderment and just soaking everything in such in a universal, expanded way. So that's your heart for this week. I'm going to let you go. And on that, have a great time. Have fun with the creativity and have fun and humor in it. Sort of like we were talking about the humor last time. And I'll see you Thursday. This is Angela with a cup of tea.